Welcome to the All Eers podcast, powered by HD Media.
New week, new edition of the All Eers podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Kennedy. Thank you all for joining us. A busy weekend across the landscape of West Virginia University athletics, and we'll hit a lot of that throughout the course of this podcast. I'm pleased to be joined in studio this week. Last week, we actually took a drive up I-79 to Morgantown, where we were joined by Swiss Army Knife at the Daily Athenaeum and the U92 Student Radio Network at West Virginia University, Quinn Robie. We are pleased to be joined to be in studio with him. Quinn, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me back. I'm glad that you wanted me back.
And we had to go through a lot of people to get you back on. Had to go through your marketing person, your agent.
Yeah.
Had to go through President Michael Benson, too.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But it's good to have you back.
Yes.
How was your weekend? Good?
It was good. Good, relaxing weekend, and now we're getting ready for March Madness.
Yeah, you saw some good women's girls basketball games in Charleston, didn't you?
Did. There was some pretty good games there Friday night.
Yeah.
All day Friday, really.
Yeah, Saturday was also really good basketball, especially in that Quad A game. But you can find all that coverage by going to our website, wvgazettemail.com. But along the lines of basketball, and as Quinn said, March Madness, big news, women's basketball. That's the topic of the day is women's basketball by Coach Mark Kellogg, earning a home regional game for the first time since 1992. And as you mentioned, that was whenever they were in a 48-team field. Now it is expanded to 64, 68 teams. So congratulations to the women's basketball team. But Quinn, I'll start with this. I was thinking about this a lot last night, and I'm curious where your head is at. Significance of this for Kellogg and his crew accomplishing this in year 3.
Huge. I think when you look at building a program, we've seen every year his recruiting class is bigger. Now, this year, he only had one freshman in the recruiting class, but she was a top 50 recruit. And so when it comes to the recruiting side of things, it helps. And this is going to help build a program. You're going to have more eyes on the program. We saw it the Iowa game in Iowa City. That helped put eyes on the program. Same thing with North Carolina. Now you don't only have eyes on the program, you have eyes on the fan base. So that's going to help him on the recruiting standpoint and those things, all those factors that come with college athletics now.
I think the other big thing, too, is this has been a consistent building block. Their highest seed in the Kellogg era, first time hosting a regional since 92. But then the other side of it, too, that I think is lingering with this program, especially under Kellogg, is have not gotten past the second round since 92. So you have an opportunity to do that on your home floor, because if you win you win Friday at 5 p.m. against Miami of Ohio, you play the winner of that next game, or the game before, I should say, and that's going to be a hoot and holler. I'll tell you that much. That sounds like a Jim Justice quote there almost, but I just imagine it now. If you could get that Kentucky WVU game, that's going to be a packed crowd. And I'm already anticipating, and you even mentioned it before, tickets are already almost out the door, almost gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When we're recording this now, they've been live for about 30 minutes, and they already have the almost gone bumper on top.
That's crazy.
And that is for both. Almost gone, and then not many left for the second round. So that is it's going to show how many people are going to be there. Obviously, for women's games now, you don't have the upper level open for women's games. You're obviously going to have it open for this tournament. And so I think that's going to play a factor. This is also going to be a crowd that this women's team has never seen before. This is going to be a louder crowd that they might have not experienced as a player before. So it's going to play a factor, but I think it's going to play a factor in a good way.
So think about it like this. I'm looking at the attendance numbers for this season. They've had 2 games, the Mountaineers have had 2 home games this season where they have eclipsed over 6,000 fans. The Cincinnati game, which was their regular season finale, and then the Baylor game on February the 1st. Both games went over 6,000. If they could pack the Hope Coliseum, that holds about 13,000.
Yeah.
That place is going to be buzzing.
I mean, and as Mark Kellogg said, bring 20 or 30 of your closest friends. I think that's what's going to happen. That is quote of the day.
That's the quote of the day.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think people are going to bring people, and they're going to play on Saturday. Not much going on Saturday. Let's bring your friends, bring your family. Go to lunch and then come to the Coliseum would be some plans. So I think a lot of people are going to come because, again, there's not much to really do this time of year except watch basketball. And the fact that March Madness is in Morgantown, I think, is huge.
You mentioned the lunch side of things. What would be a go-to spot for fans to go eat lunch there?
Ooh, Permanis. That's my go-to
Permanis?
spot. I love Permanis.
Oh my gosh.
But if we go,
all due respect,
if we go inside Morgantown, I think you got to go Gibby's. Gibby's is a spot.
That's a pull. I'll give you that. That's a good pull.
Yeah.
That's a very good pull. I don't know. I'm more of a traditional guy. I know Sean and I, when we go up, we're more of a fishbowl kind of crew. Maybe even a little bit of Keglers in the mix. Mountain State Brewing Company down there by the river. You talk about some great pizza. That might be the best pizza in Morgantown. I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now. That's a future topic for discussion.
Yes.
But that's just, hey, listen, I don't make the rules around here. But no, that's a really good point. Because the other thing is too, you mentioned by looking at the seating chart, the student section is also going to be behind the baskets, right?
Yes. That's what it looks like. They have it highlighted in red. So behind each basket is going to be the student sections, which I think is obviously it's going to open more seating up for people to get closer to the court, which I understand. I think the students are probably going to be a little upset that they're not going to get their normal seat, but at the same time, being behind the basket, you can do, whatever to distract them from a free throw. There won't be a Chick-fil-A promotion because everything is NCAA, but they're still going to chant Chick-fil-A, but sure. I think there will probably be some uproar, I'm sure, from students. But at the same time, your tickets are free.
And this is also a move that was announced before the athletic season of the fact that the student section on the basketball floor is going to be moved behind the basket. So now we're going to see what that looks like, and especially getting some more people down there in that lower section where the student section for men's games were originally at. So break to take here. We'll talk more women's basketball. We'll also talk about the men's basketball team. Coming up on the other side of this break, this is the All Eers podcast.
HD Media Game Day is your streaming home for the best in live high school sports across West Virginia. Featuring football, basketball, soccer, and more, HD Media Game Day brings the action to you for free, exclusively on our YouTube channel and at hdmediagameday.com. When you can't make it to the game, HD Media Game Day has you covered.
As the game gets faster, stronger, more dynamic, your equipment has to keep up. Introducing the Riddell Axiom, the next evolution in football protection, designed to match the speed and strength of today's athlete. Contact West Virginia Riddell representative Casey Turley at 304-552-5960. Gear up, play smart, stay protected.
Second segment here of the All Eers podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Kennedy. You can follow us on our social media channels by following us on Twitter at Gazmail Sports. That's G-A-Z Mail Sports. You can follow us on Facebook at HD Media Sports. And be sure to follow us on our YouTube page, HD Media Game Day, which is where all of our live streaming lives. And with the spring season right around the corner, you need to make sure that you are subscribed to that YouTube channel to watch baseball and some softball action this spring. In our first segment, we talked about the women's basketball team, and we're going to continue along that discussion with Quinn Robie from the DA and U92. And Quinn, looking at this bracket in the Regional 3 Fort Worth bracket, Texas earns the top seed, but you look at the path that WVU has to take. You beat Miami of Ohio, then you have to play the winner of Kentucky and James Madison, the 5-12 matchup. You win that, you got yourself some home cooking there. Like I said in the first segment, first time since 92, if you can win, be the first time since 92 that you advance past the second round. So what do you see playing out in this regional for West Virginia in these first opening rounds?
Well, I do think that you're very fortunate that you did not pull UConn or UCLA. That is where they have been the last couple of weeks.
And I was sweating with that.
That was a huge thing for me as watching it. I was sitting there and I kept telling my parents, like, I think they're here. And they weren't. And so then it was kind of like, okay, well, wait a second. So I think that's kind of the eye-opening there is that you're going to get Texas, a team that Mark Kellogg has actually gone up against. In his first year, went up against Vic Schaefer and Texas. So I think maybe is that a good thing? I would think so. I think you got to be fortunate because you didn't get put with UConn, UCLA, or South Carolina. You don't want to. I mean, those are the beasts of women's college basketball, and so the bracket that you got put with, I think, is very, very good. I do think it is unfortunate that you're probably going to have to run into Texas eventually if you do win, and you're going to have to face Texas in Fort Worth. I think that's unfortunate, but I do think that Texas is a beatable team for this West Virginia team. They're playing their best basketball right now, but again, I think you're fortunate that you did not get UConn or UCLA in that draw.
Yeah, I was watching it like what you were saying. I was watching it as well, and when I saw Connecticut, I said, "Uh-oh,
yep,
not good." And then when I saw that West Virginia didn't get in it, I said, "Okay." Then UCLA came on the screen. I said, "Uh-oh," again, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch WVU play either one of those teams because I want to see WVU succeed, obviously,
right?
But at the same time, Kellogg is one that does not fret from tough competition. We saw what happened in the Greenbrier playing Duke, who also was a high seed in the NCAA tournament. But former WVU women's basketball coach Don Plitzelwhite is in that UCLA regional. So if they win their game against Green Bay, they'll play the winner Ole Miss Gonzaga. Then they have to play top seed UCLA if UCLA were to advance that far. So that would be interesting just to see as well, West Virginia connection, since there's always one. But this first round game, 5 p.m. on Saturday on ESPN2, WVU opens up as a 25.5 point favorite against the Redhawks.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think happens in that game?
I think that exactly what it's saying. I think West Virginia has been able to take care of teams that they should have taken care of besides one, and that was Villanova, who is a NCAA tournament team. I think West Virginia goes out and plays their game. I think Miami of Ohio has not seen a team like West Virginia where they're turning the ball over. Miami of Ohio has played 2 Big 12 teams. They played Cincinnati, actually have a win over Cincinnati, and then got beat by 20 against Colorado. So I think a lot of that's going to tie in here. I think Miami of Ohio is probably going to be ready. They are obviously the MAC champions, but I do think that West Virginia is going to pull away probably early, be at home. We know that how this team plays at home. Mark Kellogg's record at home is incredible. And so we're going to see this team pull away at home, and I think they're going to use the crowd to their advantage, and they're going to be doing their thing where they force turnovers and cause chaos, as some say, the Kellogg chaos.
Ooh, that's a good one. We might have to make
I can't take that myself. That's all Andrew Caridi.
We don't give him credit around here. We don't give Andrew Caridi credit. But I will say this, though. Andrew, good friend of mine. He's actually going to be joining us later this week on our Thursday show to kind of give us more of a deep dive into this week. We're spending this whole weekend, guys, on women's basketball, and we're going to get Andrew's perspective and his scoop into the world of WVU women's basketball. So that's coming up later in the week. But Quinn, I also look at this regional as well for WVU, and I'm with you. I think WVU wins their opening game on Saturday. Then if they win that game, they play Monday against the winner Kentucky and James Madison. But then you look at recent history against all 3 of these teams. Last time they played Miami of Ohio, 2022, December 21st, 2022. Then Kentucky and James Madison, they actually played each other. They actually played those 2 schools in the same season in 2021. So there's some familiarity as a program going up against these 3 schools. However, as you mentioned, with the Texas side of things, Kellogg hasn't played any of these teams. So that will be interesting to see how that all kind of mixes together and creates the final product that we'll see this weekend and possibly on Monday. But I think I'm with you. The crowd is going to be the biggest implicator as to what happens in the game, quite frankly, because you mentioned with the ticket sales in the opening segment, that's going to be the biggest tale. Who's going to show up, how many people are going to show up, and how loud they're going to be. I'll be honest with you. I've been to my fair share of women's basketball games, as have you. I can't remember which game it was. It might have been the Cincinnati game, but it might have also been the Baylor game. Loudest crowd pop I've heard for a women's basketball game was between one of those 2 games, by far.
It was Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It was. I actually had to turn over and turn the crowd mic down because it got so loud. Those fans, especially after they started going on this run that they've lost 1 game over the last month, and it happened to be TCU. You avenge that loss, so that goes out the door.
Yep.
They started playing their best basketball. The fans saw that. The fans showed up and supported. Obviously, also to support the seniors. Obviously, Jordan Harrison, who helped turn this program around. And when I say around, it's not like this program was in bad shape before they were in an NCAA tournament before Kellogg got here. But they helped move this program to now hosting a game, because who knows where this program would be. So I think they're going to do the same exact thing. They get at least one more opportunity to watch their favorite players. I think they're going to show up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that we'll see what happens on 5 p.m. on Saturday against Miami of Ohio. Break to take. On the other side of this break, we'll talk about the rifle team 21st national championship. We'll talk more about that here on the All Eers podcast.
Oh, good gravy. The kind made from real premium sausage. The kind that's smothered over deliciousness. The kind you can only get at Tudor's Biscuit World. That's the gravy that's oh so good. It's the perfect topping to your biscuits or your taters, and even makes a delicious side. It's oh so good gravy. Tudor's Biscuit World. We're dripping with oh good gravy.
HD Media Sports is your one-stop destination for top high school and college sports coverage in the Mountain State. From Morgantown to Mingo County, our award-winning reporters keep you informed about your favorite teams and players, including exclusive coverage of the Marshall Thundering Herd and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Follow HD Media Sports on Facebook to stay up to date on the latest news, features, and game coverage.
Final segment here on the All Eers podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Really quick notes here as we conclude this episode. Football, nothing new in regards to spring football practice. The media met with Coach Rich Rodriguez last week. So we have not heard what's going to be new in regards to media availability. We'll get you guys up to date with that as we know it. Rifling. Congratulations to John Hammond and the Fighting Mountaineers on winning yet another rifle championship. Might be the greatest dynasty in all of collegiate athletics. I'm going to go ahead and say that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodbye, John Wooden. Goodbye, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Bill Wallen.
Yeah.
All due respect. Hey, John Hammond. Mountaineers. 21st rifle championship. Congratulations to them. Quinn, unbelievable run that they're on right now.
And 8 for John Hammond himself and 21 in total. It's incredible. Also look at the Olympic athletes that program has turned out. It's incredible to see that they're going to continue. They were down too. They came back and won on the second day. They were down. They were in like third place. And so coming back to win a national championship, that's huge.
Never count out the Mountaineers, Sean. Never. Never. As Sean shakes his head. Quinn, I want to ask you this as we get you out of here. Question of the day from last week. Okay. Favorite WVU sports moment that you have seen in person. What is it?
That I have seen in person would be the Greenbrier 5.
Ooh,
being able
that's a good one.
to work that game, broadcast that game, to watch it happen, watch it unfold, that was awesome for me. Just because where I have covered the women's basketball team for so long and then seeing them play Duke, and ultimately they were neck and neck, and then everything happened. It was incredible to see them with 5 available players single-handedly beat Duke. It wasn't really beat them. I mean, they took over that game. Mm-hmm. They took over from the get-go, and it was incredible. That was by far my favorite moment that I've seen as covering Mountaineer athletics.
That's a great pool. Not going to lie to you. I don't really care about the recency bias because, quite frankly, if you make a memory like that, heck yeah, that should be up there.
Yeah,
100%.
It's definitely up there.
I think mine is definitely, I'm going to paint a picture for you, as Sean said in our last episode. February 16th, 2015, a freshman in high school, Taylor Kennedy, drives up to Morgantown with his dad, okay? Weather sucked. 79 sucked, period. Snowing, miserable day. There was a lot of snow in Morgantown this day. But February 16th, 2015, 23rd West Virginia welcomes number 8 Kansas, okay? Frank Mason, Wayne Sheldon, Kelly Oubre, Cliff Alexander, and then the legacy man himself, Perry Ellis, who finished with 19 points this game. But the memory, Jawan Staten's game-winning layup as he spun past the Kansas defenders, went up with the left hand as Sean is motioning a travel, which is beyond absurd and far-fetched. But then he makes the layup. Then Kansas throws a Hail Mary pass, and Perry Ellis misses a bunny. Brett Musburger was on the call. Sat near him. Craziest story ever. Do we have enough time? We got enough time. I'm going to say this real quick. So, craziest story ever. So, my uncle and my dad were supposed to go to the game. Uncle couldn't go. I didn't get the ticket. His boss gave us the tickets. So now my dad and I are going. We got to meet like Seth Greenberg. We sat courtside. We're probably like 4 or 5 seats over from Brett Musburger and the ESPN broadcast. Craziest experience because when the student sections rushed the court, my dad and I had to take like 5 steps out of the way because all of a sudden there's just a stampede of students. Craziest game, craziest environment. 2015 Kansas WVU. Book it, Sean. Book it. Well, that will do it for us here on the All Eers podcast. We appreciate you all listening to us. You can follow us on Spotify. Give us a subscription. Give us a rating as well if you like this. What do you want to hear from us moving forward? Who do you want to hear from this summer? We'd love to hear from you moving forward, and that'll do it. And also, by the way, I'll be up there on Saturday covering the WVU women's basketball game against Miami of Ohio. So be sure to check out our website, wvgazettemail.com. And we will see you all on the flip side. Coming up later this week, we'll talk with Andrew Caridi. This is the All Eers podcast.
You have been listening to the All Eers podcast, powered by HD Media.